You wear no crown as of yet, though the gods have already whispered your name. Born a humble Norse cultivator, your hands mastered the earth before ever grasping a blade. The settlement was modest, while the realm beyond appeared unfathomably vast. Instructed by your father in the art of the hunt, the dense woodland served as your earliest master. Yet your gaze perpetually wandered westward, past the distant horizon, beyond the boundaries of the charted world. While your forebears plundered eastward into the Russlands, your visions were anchored in the west. You wed Lagertha, a fierce shield maiden, whose prowess in battle rivaled that of any warrior. United, you tilled the land, hunted for sustenance, and reared your offspring in a harsh realm dictated by survival. Nevertheless, aspiration coursed through your veins like the frigid currents of the Norwegian rivers. You sought an audience with Earl Haraldsson, your liege, and petitioned to launch an expedition to the west. Haraldsson denied your request, paralyzed by fear of the uncharted. You harbored no such dread. Thus you sought out Floki, the most eccentric and ingenious shipwright in all of Scandinavia. In utter secrecy, you constructed a longship, swifter, and with a shallower draft than any vessel previously conceived. Upon the vessel's completion, you assembled a loyal crew composed of outcasts and visionaries. The ocean proved unforgiving, frigid, pitch black, and seemingly boundless in all directions. For arduous days, you navigated relying solely upon celestial bodies and raw intuition. Finally, solid ground. The English shoreline materialized through the dense morning mist. Lindisfarne. Secluded sanctuary resting utterly exposed upon the precipice of the known world. The holy men had never encountered warriors of your kind surging forth from the tide. You brought ruin not for mere amusement, but claimed what your kin required to endure. Upon your return to Norway, tales of your unprecedented voyage ignited like a blaze across every settlement. English gold and silver served as undeniable, proof that the western lands were both real and attainable. Earl Haraldsson seethed with rage. Your triumph cost him in a shadow of weakness and cowardice. He branded you a fugitive, forcing you to be hunted across your own homeland. You challenged Haraldsson to a duel to the death. The old order fractured and fell that very day. You ascended to Earl, a mere agriculturalist who had masterfully conquered his own destiny. Yet authority invited fresh adversaries, as it inevitably always does. The shores of England beckoned once more, this time answering with a grander fleet and an insatiable hunger. You arrived in Northumbria, a domain defined by undulating hills and terrified monarchs. King Aella of Northumbria observed your approaching armada and experienced profound terror. Mere pillaging no longer satisfied you. Thoughts of establishing permanent settlements began to take root. Meanwhile, in your homeland, your brother Rollo grew increasingly discontent dwelling within your monumental shadow. Renown exacts a heavy toll. The closer you drifted toward absolute greatness, the more isolated you became. You claimed a second bride, Aslog, a woman rumored to possess noble mythical lineage. Lagertha departed. Certain emotional severances are too profound for even a seasoned Viking to weather. Decades slipped by. Your sons matured into fierce combatants, while your personal legend transcended into sheer myth. Paris, the paramount fortress of the Western realm, now stood as your ultimate objective. The Frankish forces boasted impenetrable ramparts, vast armies, and a monarch known as Charles the Bold. You lay siege to Paris for agonizing months, culminating in a bitter, unyielding stalemate. Thus you executed an act unprecedented among your kind. You chose to negotiate. You accepted a ransom of silver to abandon the Parisian gates, a staggering 6,000 pounds of it. However, a grand deception lay beneath. You feigned your own demise to infiltrate their fortified walls. You erupted from that very casket within their sacred cathedral, leaving the Franks utterly defenseless and astounded. You had entirely outwitted an empire armed with nothing more than sheer audacity and brilliant imagination. Many winters later, the ravages of age accomplished what no mortal army ever could. England had thwarted your final expedition. Your forces were decimated, and your once great name was dimming. You marched into King Aella's stronghold entirely alone, yearning to craft one final, enduring saga. Aella took you captive and scoffed, entirely convinced that the legendary Ragnar was utterly broken. Your dying utterances were a solemn vow that your offspring would fiercely avenge Aella's transgressions. How the little piglets will grunt when they learn how the old boar suffered. Tidings of your execution traversed the ocean, carried upon the biting winter gales. Your heirs, Bjorn, Ivar, Sigurd, and Ubba, absorbed this grim revelation as a united front. They summoned the great heathen army, amassing the most colossal Viking horde England had ever witnessed. They navigated the waters and ravaged the English countryside like a ceaseless, devastating tempest. King Aella was inevitably cornered, and your sons delivered his gruesome fate without a shred of mercy. Your dark prophecy was fulfilled. Your bloodline had definitively cemented your immortal legacy. You never proclaimed yourself an emperor. You remained a mere farmer who possessed the audacity to sail west. Your name effortlessly outlasted your adversaries, your bitterest rivals, and your very epoch. They composed epic sagas in your honor. A millennium later, your extraordinary tale is still recounted. Such was your existence as Ragnar Lothbrok, the humble cultivator who forged himself into an eternal legend.